GCSE Poetry, War and Conflict, Storm on the Island, and Poems to compare it to. Before we start, I just want to say a quick thank you to the physics and maths tutor. For access to this annotated poem, make sure you click on the link in the description box. It's free and I don't get anything out of it, I just think it's a really good resource for you to use. Let's begin. We are prepared. We build our houses squat, sink walls in rock and roof them with good slate. This wizened earth has never troubled us with hay, so, as you see, there are no stacks or stooks that can be lost, nor are there trees which might prove company when it blows full blast. You know what I mean. Leaves and branches can raise a tragic chorus in a gale, so that you can listen to the thing you fear, forgetting that it pummels your house too. But there are no trees, no natural shelter. You might think that the sea is company, exploding comfortably down on the cliffs, but no. When it begins, the flung spray hits the very windows, spits like a tame cat turned savage. We just sit tight while wind dives and strafes invisibly. Space is a salvo. We are bombarded by the empty air. Strange, it is nothing that we fear. So, just in case you did not understand that, here's a brief summary of the poem. Heaney has authored a poem about a community of islanders who are preparing for a storm. He investigates the battle of nature versus man, and it centres on their experience of the storm, and how they appear to get them regularly, and how this impacts life on the island as they wait for it to pass. So let's look at the annotations in detail. Arrogance is seen in the declarative, we are prepared. This sounds overconfident and shows how it's a very bold and declarative sentence. They're confident in their ability to overpower nature. This wizened earth. Now, wizened connotes wisdom and respect, so they do have that respect for nature. There are no stacks or stooks that can be lost, which highlights how there's no way to judge damage. When it blows full blast, plosives give a sense of violence and aggression and suggest nature is attacking the island. The plosives also resemble bullets, which shows weather is as deadly as a weapon. You know what I mean is a very conversational, colloquial term, and it connects the reality of the islanders' lives to the readers. The theme of community versus isolation is continued and spits like a tame cat turned savage. Now, not only is this highlighting how the islanders never owned nature, it was always more powerful and they don't have a choice. But it also, the sound, the sibilance of spits and savage, it's quite an uncomfortable sound, and it could hint at how nature is sometimes uncomfortable, but they are unable to do anything about it. So let's look at the poet context. The poet's name is Seamus Heaney. He was born in 1939 and sadly passed away in 2013. He was a poet from Northern Ireland, and he was born in Northern Ireland and moved to the Republic of Ireland as he was growing up. He wrote mostly about landscapes and rural life, and he grew up as part of a farming community focused on ancestry, identity, and nature. So let's look at the title. The title is Storm on the Island. So this suggests that the poem will focus on isolation, island, and island also sounds a lot like Ireland, which links to how Heaney is Irish, and it provides the event of the poem, the storm, as well as the event's location, the island, so it tells you a lot about what the poem is going to be about. There's no article in the title, which suggests collective and generalised accounts, because storms are frequent events. Let's look at language, structure and form essay points. So firstly, its use of dramatic monologue and structure, which means the poem is very conversational. This reflects the position of the islanders, who have no one to help during the storm as a result of their isolation. Iambic pentameter is also used, and Heaney maintains this rhythm, which also reflects a conversational tone. There is a lack, however, of consistent rhyme scheme, which reflects how, no matter how much they try to fight it, order cannot be enforced upon nature. It is more powerful than humans. The omnipotence of nature contrasts with the controlled rhythm, which works to show human power resisting the chaos of the storm. There's also a semantic field of militia, or militia, and nature is referred to in military terms by comparing the storm to a military plane. It also reveals how the islanders are under attack, with a heavy tone of violence and aggression. Again, I just wanted to talk about the colloquial terms and the conversational tone, and how that affects and how that heavily juxtaposes the very scary, violent nature of a storm with the very casual conversational tone. And finally, poems to compare it to. So Storm on the Island and The Prelude. In terms of similarities, both poems show nature as powerful. In Storm on the Island, it is due to violence of nature, military metaphors, and he preludes that it's due to the size and extent of nature. The speakers both discover truths about the world through their encounters with nature. In Storm on the Island, the islanders realise their inability to control the storm. This is displayed through the cyclical structure of the poem. In terms of differences, the conflict with nature is displayed differently in each poem. In Storm on the Island, it is physical, as if they are physically being attacked by the nature, whereas in the prelude it's psychological, and nature is inciting fear and redefining their view on the world. Now, in the comparison of Storm on the Island and Ozymandias, both poems suggest that the power of nature is greater than the power of humans. In Ozymandias, nature takes over the statue. However, in Storm on the Island, it's attacking the island, so it's on a much larger scale. Also, both connect power to isolation. In Ozymandias, the isolation of the statue showing loss of power, and in Storm on the Island, the isolation of the island during and due to the storm. In terms of differences, in Storm on the Island and Ozymandias, whilst they both connect power with aggression, the military power is connected to aggression, whereas on Storm on the Island, the power of the storm is connected to aggression. So it's two different comparisons, and you can really delve into what the differences highlight about the poem. So thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe. There's loads more videos on not only English, we do geography, RS and French. So hopefully see you soon and have a good day.